Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and it is Saturday, so it's time for my weekly roundup. Yay! So what is my weekly roundup? It's basically where I go through my week in crafting. I share any WIPs, works in progress, or FOs, finished objects I have, and we also talk about the book I am reading. I'm going to talk about 3 different books this week. What? Wait. Yeah, 3 different books. So I actually said I was going to pare down my WIPs a bit. So I don't have that terribly much of the WIP department to share. And I have some finished objects, but not ones that I can share with you because they are for different days. So this might actually be a relatively shorter weekly update. Fingers crossed. Okay, so one thing... Oh, I don't have something I made, but that's okay. I made Bingo a headband with some yarn that was in my scrap bin that she wanted. It was actually the leftover yarn from this hat. So I did finish the green giant hat. Oop. Oh, it's my thing. So this is the green giant hat. It's a free pattern available on Ravelry. There you go. I left a really long tail because I want to add a pom, but I have to get to the yarn store to pick out a pom that looks good with it. And so this is a hat for my LYS challenge. Local yarn shop here is doing a challenge where if you can make 23 hats in 23, they'll give you a free hank of Malabrigo. The catch is it has to be yarn that you purchase from their store. So this was some not Malabrigo. They're going to give you a free Madeline Tosh. This was made with Malabrigo Rasta. The colorway is Arco Iris, and I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. It is very thick, it is very warm, it is very hot outside today. This is not going on my head, but I really like it. It's a very, very thick yarn. I didn't fully like the decreases on the crown. She has you do a skip knit, which is it's a double decrease, but it made these really big stitches here, and I think she did it for an artistic effect. To me, it just looks like a little pulley and it looks a little bunchy. So if I were to make this hat again, I think I would change the decreases and just do, instead of the double decrease, do a single decrease and basically add an extra decrease round, because she has you do a double decrease and then a single decrease. So I just do 3 single decrease rounds and kind of smooth that out a little bit. But that's the only thing I would change, and I don't, since it's done, I don't feel like ripping it out and redoing it. But there you go. Hat is done. I thought I had the pattern here somewhere, but I don't know. So here it is. Arco Iris Rasta Malabrigo. That's the yarn I used. Like I said, this is free on Ravelry. It will be linked down below if you are interested in trying it yourself. Then I threw together a quick scrunchie, but I did some miscounts here, so it's a little wonky. But that's okay, because it's going to look just fine once you just twirl it up in your hair. So I'm going to keep this one for myself. This was some leftover Sutherland stripe from Bingo's Heart Lovey Blankie she wanted. And then I did keep going with my washcloth adventures, my Tunisian washcloths. So Heather from Strings and Threads was contacted by the Starfish Association. I keep saying it wrong. American Starfish. They're going to be linked down below. And because she was doing her Scrubby Sunday series, and they are a group that helps veterans, homeless veterans, get back on their feet. And they have washing stations, and they make like tiny homes. It's a really cool organization. I suggest, you know, going and reading it, reading about what they do. But anyway, they reached out and said, "Hey, you're making a lot of washcloths. Mind if we have some?" And she was like, "Sure. Let me tag some folks too." So she put the call out, and many of us have responded. So we're making washcloths and sending them to the American Starfish Association. And I had just recently started trying to practice my Tunisian crochet with washcloths. I'm like, this is perfect. I'll be making washcloths anyway. Have somewhere to send them off to. Someone's going to use them. So This is, I followed a tutorial by Tony from TL Yarn Crafts. This one was fun. It was Tunisian simple stitch, but on the bias. So you got to work it like a diamond. And look at that super cool, fun effect it has. I really like this one. I really like the texture it created. Now this is one of the curlier washcloths that I've ever made, but she said that would happen in the tutorial Tony did. And it's a washcloth. It's gonna get used, so I'm sorry, I am against blocking washcloths, because once you block it, you have to keep blocking it. And if it's just gonna get used, it doesn't really matter if it curls, right? It's a useful item. But here you go. It went a little funky at this end. I think this was my starting, and then I started to figure out how to hold the tension, but I really, really like it. I think it's definitely a decent usable washcloth. I wouldn't send anything that turned out horribly, and I think just a little there trying to get used to how to do the tension, not an issue. It'll wash your body all the same. So yes, I will put this aside and send that out to the American Starfish. And check out Heather's channel. She has more information and all that about the group. The final finished object. No, it's not the final finished object. I have 2 more finished objects. I'm sorry, I got so excited because I just recently finished the other one. Okay, so I did finish my Jacob's Ladder shawl, and I am so excited with how it turned out. I think it is gorgeous, and it's just so graphic and fun. And this is definitely one where you could even use it, you know, like a shawl if you wanted, or it makes a really nice like lap blanket too. So this is multi-useful. Like this, I think would be a perfect campfire thing. So here's the shawl. I did change it up a little bit. So I did everything to Darla's, that's a color change in the yarn, to Darla's specification except for the last border row. So she wanted you to do a single crochet chain border, and I started doing that, but it was really ruffling out on me, so I don't know if I had weird tension, if I wasn't following the tutorial correctly, or what was going on, but I didn't like, so it was like pulling the shawl and making it buckle and ruffle a little bit, where on Darla's it looked like it was just ruffling the border, which I thought was adorable, but it wasn't working out for me. So instead I just did the single crochet that she did, and then my last row of the border is just a row of half doubles. I thought that gave it a nice clean flat effect. And then for my 2 corners down here, I just did 3 half doubles in the middle corner stitch. So that's the only change I did, but I thought this was so pretty and so fun. It's, again, a little big. I can't get it quite all on camera. I don't want, okay, I put it on, but just for a little bit, because since this is going to be a prize for someone, I don't want to wear it too much. But look at how nice that is. Look at that. Oh, this is fun. I really enjoyed this, Darla. Thank you so much for the tutorial. So this is going to be a prize for the Krafting Kitty Creator Spotlight. If you don't know, each month I do a spotlight on a different creator, and people make things or they send pictures of things they have already made, and you know, at the end of the month I put together a slideshow of what everybody's made, and then we have a prize drawing. The number of prizes depends on the number of people that enter, and it's just a fun time. It's a way for us to share our creativity, to see what other people do with people's tutorials, and to really dive a little deeper into one creator's catalog. And I really am adoring what you guys are making from Darla. So you do have a couple more days to get in more entries. Bring them on! We had somebody make her new bag, which when she posted that bag, I was like, oh, that's beautiful. So I am so glad that someone whipped one up really fast, because it is gorgeous. It is a beautiful pattern. Go check out Darla, Crafty Yarn Owl with Darla. And yeah, she is sweet, and they're always fun. This month seems extra fun for some reason. I do have a one final hot off the hook, finished it moments before I hit record on here. Super chicken! Bok, 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 bok. Bok, bok. So I finished the super chicken. So Laura from Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming was double dog dared challenged to make this amigurumi out of this book, Funny Amigurumi, 16 Creatures and Their Accessories to Crochet by Emily Pinault. And when I saw it, I had to jump on the train with Miss Laura. So this chicken is Miss Minnie Chicken and Cape. I'm going to try to show you just the picture since it's a paid book. There's what hers looked like. I had, this is, the yarn I used was the Mary Maxim rag from a Mary Maxim review I had done, and I posted a picture of it, and Amy from Hooked on Wishing Crochet said, "Oh my goodness, that looks like a chicken. It should be a chicken." I was like, you have given me the most brilliant idea, because I knew I wanted to do this chicken, and I thought I was going to use white yarn instead of the yellow for the body. So nope, I used the rag yarn. I did run out near the end, so she's got a white bottom, a white tail, and her wings are white. But I think that actually makes it look a little more realistic. And so yeah, this is all just scrap yarn I had. Now in the book, they do have a letter embroidered on the back. The kiddos are currently negotiating who gets this, so I did not embroider anything on the back because I didn't want to throw my hat in that particular discussion yet. Shall we say. But yes, the chicken is already well loved in the household, and one of the children will love it, and I may very well be making a second chicken at some point in the future. But there you go. Those are my finished objects, my FOs. And the, so I have 3 whips to show you, 2 knit and 1 crochet. So I am trying to pare down my whips because I want to be able to focus more on the Dino Stomp blanket for that collaboration with Ray from Ray's Yarn Addiction. So Ray and I are doing a oh, my battery is running out. Okay, pause, and I'm back. So I had to grab my battery real quick. So where was I? Okay, so Ray and I are doing a Dino-tastic make-along, we're calling it, kind of. We're making the same blanket and giving it to our dino-loving kiddos. And we're inviting you guys to make dino-inspired items and send us pictures. It's running through December. There's multiple other videos talking specifics on that on our channel, so please go check those out if you want to know more about that. But I need to get some time to work on the blanket. So I'm not going to start a new bod project, and I'm just going to keep a couple of them. I'm going to try my hardest to not cast on more projects. You know the struggle. The struggle is real. Okay, but what I do have, I did start a new one. I had to. I finished like 3 projects, and the urge to not cast on another was too great. I gave in, but it was only 1. So this is the kit I got from Mountain Meadow Yarns. This will be linked down below. It is for the CNC cowl. And the kit, you can buy it with or without the knitting needles. It's a knitting kit. I bought it without the needles because I already had the supply I needed. The yarn it comes with is Mountain Meadow Wool Touch of the West. This is made in Wyoming. This is Green River hand-dyed yarn. It's the color Canyon. It's a 2-ply fingering weight, 50% bamboo, 50% mountain merino wool, which is their own kind of proprietary blend of wools. But look at how beautiful that color is. Oh, so I wanted to cast this on. I've been wanting to for a while. The kit comes with 2 hanks of yarn. So I caked up one of them and then I got started. I'm really not that far at all. I'm on like the 5th or 6th row. So I just kind of finished the border and I'm starting the actual pattern. But I'm only like a quarter of the way through the first row. Not much to show here. But this is fun. It's got 2 different sections that you alternate between. And then there's 2 shaping sections where you start wide and you're going to gradually narrow it down in a couple of spots to make it more kind of, I don't know if you can see very well in this picture, but it's a little narrower at the top and wider at the bottom, so you can wear it like that, or you can wear it like a normal cowl, any of those ways. The pattern did come in the sleeve protector, which I thought was a very nice touch on their part, and it came with the project bag. So everything came with it except for the needles. But, as I said, you can purchase the needles, so it basically comes right here, your project ready to go. So this is fun and exciting, and I love using the yarn. It's very nice. It's a new to me yarn. I've never used it before. It's wonderful. The other thing I'm working on, my crochet project, is, oh, here's the green giant hat. There's a pattern for the green giant hat. I thought this was the pattern for my mittens, which means I've now lost the mitten pattern. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is Mrs. Murdoch's mittens. It's something like that. It's going to be linked down below. I really thought that was the pattern, so I didn't look up the name before I hit record. But I'm not very far. I set this aside so I could make the chicken. So this is, I made a hat for Bingo. I'm using the remaining yarn to try to make her a pair of mittens for the winter time. So I'll get more work on that, I guess once I find the pattern. Ah! Oh, I'm chaos. It is pure chaos in here today. Okay. Well, that was, I don't know where that pattern went. Yikes. Okay. The other thing I have is I'm continuing to work on Bingo's orange socks. I got a bit more work done, not a ton. I'm going to be honest. I fell asleep in the chair putting the kids to sleep a couple times, and this is my nighttime project. So I must have just been too tuckered to work on it. So I got a couple rows in, maybe 10 in the past week. Not a lot, but it's progressing. It's going to be done soon anyway. And yeah, I'm using my Clover Takumi Bamboo 9-inch circular needles in US 2. When I need to switch to DPNs, I will, I have Chowgu steel DPNs I'll switch to. I'm basically using a modified version of the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla socks on 9-inch circulars for this. It's kind of, so I'm using the Premier Fruits yarn to make the socks. When you go there, a kid's sock pattern pops up. That pattern is very, very, very close to the Crazy Sock Ladies pattern. So it's kind of an amalgamation of the 2 patterns that I'm using. And I'm kind of just going from my own brain at this point, which is dangerous. It's always dangerous. What's going on? Oh, my mother-in-law wants to talk. We're going to wait for a couple minutes on that. So, yeah. That's where I'm at this. Oh, I'm using a Queen's Crafts by Bridget 100-gram sock bag. Very nice. Can hold your 100 grams of socks. Right now it's holding a 50-gram ball because, kiddos have little feet. That is all I have in the realm of projects to show you. So yeah, because I don't show Fridays with Fred and I don't show the Things We're Making Thursday projects, and I'll show the Dino Stomp blanket kind of every other week. So those all have their own days. So I just share those on those days. So let's move on to books. I did finish the Pineapple Street book that I was reading. It was a super quick, kind of light, fun read. It's very New York, kind is very kind of, I'll say Sex and the City feeling, only because that's a reference point, I know. But there's not naughty bits. There are no naughty bits in it, so don't worry about that. There's the start of a description of some naughty bits, but it's like they fill into the bed. End scene. So nothing too saucy there if you're worried about naughty bits. I think it was fun. I don't think there's any big literature takeaways. I'm gonna have to call my mother-in-law. She seems to maybe be getting scammed right now. So, one second. Crisis averted. She was getting those. I'm sure you've gotten them. The USPS received a package. Click this link to confirm your address because it's an incomplete address. Where it looks suspiciously legit, but you're like, no, that's a scam. So, I'm glad she called before clicking the link. We have instilled that in here. Okay, we are talking about books. I finished Pineapple Street. If you're looking for a good, fun beach read, I thought it was pretty good. The next book I got from the library was called Homecoming by Kate Morton. I had to give that one back to the library pretty quickly. I read a synopsis and it said a journalist has moved back home after living in England for so long and stumbles upon a family mystery. And it didn't take me too terribly long to figure out what the family mystery is, so trigger warnings. I find I can't read books about certain topics anymore after becoming a mom, and one of them is child loss. So that is the central theme of the family mystery, and I'm not going to read a book about that anymore. I just can't do it anymore. So I had to send that one back. Luckily, I realized what the family tragedy was, at like the second or third chapter of the book. So I didn't get too far into it. But it's Kate Morton. She wrote The Lake House. She's kind of known for writing these two different timeline stories, and she's got a very interesting writing style. So if you like that style of book and you like her, she does have a new book out. Maybe go check it out. I can't tell you much about it because I didn't read it. I had to put it down. Are you guys like that? Do you have that same thing where maybe as you've aged or there's just certain things you can't read? Like, everyone tells me how awesome The Road is by Cormac McCarthy? Oh. I can't remember the name of the book. The author of the book. But it's the post-apocalyptic, a great movie with Viggo Mortensen was made about it. I watched the movie up to a point, and when I knew what was going to happen, I shut it off. I know about a scene in the book, and I'm sure many of you know what scene I'm talking about. I know it exists in there. I will never ever read that book because I know that scene exists in there. I can't do it. I can't do it. So anyway, I have gone back to The Wise Man's Fear, which was, sadly left lingering on my bedside table as I did my adventures with the other books. So, I am back. I'm going to finish The Wise Man's Fear before I check out any other books from the library. This is my goal. I also am very easily swayed by Bookstagram. And somebody reposted, I don't know why I do these things, people, reposted a clip of an interview with Henry Cavill. And he's like a nerd king, right? And he was like, the question was, what 3 books do you recommend to anybody looking to get into fantasy literature? And he just rattled them off, and I was like, oh my god, I love that author, I love that author, I love that author. Yes, yes, yes. So I had to go out and go buy those 3 books. So now those books are sitting in there being added to my TBR pile. And of course, most of them are the first book in a series. We're gonna see. Who knows? Henry told me I had to, and I had to. I can't say no to those dimples. You can't say no to the dimples. Anyway, I'm back to Wise Man's Fear. I picked it back up. I was right back in the world. I really love Patrick Rothfuss as a writer. I am so excited. I have pre-ordered the new novella that's coming out in either October or November. So yeah, I am excited to be back into this, and I'm going to do this. Although I talked about Hooked on Wishing Crochet, and Amy is such a sweetheart. She had sent me a postcard that's been sitting on my table here, and I've forgotten to say it's a beautiful picture of a canyon, and she was out traveling and found, I would say, is it a cavern? Underground. And then she stopped at a yarn shop on her adventures. It was wonderful. So this is Drapery Column in Mercer Caverns, Murphy's, California. The kids adore this. They have just been oohing and eyeing over the picture. They want to go there. For a moment, Chomps thought it was a chicken nugget. And he was like, why is she sending you pictures of chicken nuggets? And then Bingo thought maybe it was a hamburger. So then we had to go to McDonald's. But... Thank you so much for thinking of us, Amy, and sending us this beautiful picture. It certainly has sparked the children's imagination, and I just love looking at beautiful things and dreaming about maybe someday visiting. Someday. There's so much we want to do, isn't there? Okay,